Kiitos kutsusta Screenforce. That's all I've got for you. I'm sorry, that's all my finish for today. It's a very great pleasure to be here. Thank you very much to Anna and to Arena for the invitation. Yes, my name is Kebbell, and I work for the Research and Sports Insights team at Eurosport, based in Paris, France. And I'd like to talk to you today about the approach we took to audience measurement during the Winter Olympic Games last year in Pyeongchang, South Korea, and also briefly reflect on what we're taking forward in terms of audience measurement for Tokyo 2020 next summer. So for those of you who may not be aware, in 2016, Discovery, which is the parent company of Eurosport, partnered with the International Olympic Committee to become the home of the Olympics in 48 countries across Europe. From 2018 through to 2024, and additionally in France from 2022 to 2024. And our company leadership at the time presented a vision to deliver the Olympics to more people on more screens than had ever been done before, and also to reach new and younger audiences. And to measure against these key objectives, we would need to take an innovative and fresh approach to audience measurement. So today I'm going to share to you some of the progress we've made at Eurosport to measure our total audience, that is to say unduplicated individuals watching the Pyeongchang Winter Games across all devices, linear and digital, in 48 markets. I'm going to talk to you about TV, of course, and I'm also going to talk about the new TV, which we call our total video metric, which takes into account Olympic viewing across every screen, service and format. But before I start the obligatory corporate video, I'd like to take a short clip just to remind us of some of the key moments of the Games and also hear about some of our philosophy behind delivering it. So, there we should.
There is no bigger global event than the Olympics. This is bigger than anything by far that we've done. A second, now she starts to charge. When heroes step up and become heroes.
Kerry is doing many things that have not been done before in the coverage of the Olympic Games.
So here are some of the key figures mentioned in the video. As I mentioned, the priority was to engage more people across more screens and to reach new and younger audiences. And on Eurosport, we broadcast and streamed the Winter Olympics in 48 markets and territories across Europe on Eurosport, but also on Discovery-owned partners and channels. So, for example, in Finland here, we used TV5, where I think during the preliminary round of the men's ice hockey tournament, the match between Sweden and Finland got a 76.3% market share. So we also went into partnership, as it says here, with more than 40 national broadcast partners in different markets, as well as social media platforms and telcos companies. So nobody had ever really delivered the Olympics to the scale before, or to such levels of localization or complexity, and they certainly hadn't tried to measure that, which is really where our journey into audience measurement begins. So let's look at some of the KPIs that we produced. So as mentioned, our first priority was to engage more people on more screens and to reach new and younger audiences. And it was a huge challenge to measure against these KPIs. I think they're both challenges that face our entire industry. The media landscape continues to fragment, and yet there is no sort of single reliable and consistent industry standard to measure consumption across all screens. And as the first digital Olympics across Europe, what we mean by that is that every single camera position, every single minute of the games was streamed over OTT live across all of those 48 countries in Europe. So we needed a multi-market approach to our research. And finally, we have the discovery difference, which is from a content perspective, this is bringing something new to our audiences and to sort of change their experience with new content forms. But also from a research perspective, it's bringing our heritage of research and innovation to design new metrics. So we had several stages in our research program. We had quantitative research before and after the games, which allowed us to measure audience behaviours on behalf of the International Olympic Committee. And it also allowed us to look at perceptions of our key sponsors as part of our return on investment commitment to them. Then we have daily audience reporting. So this was across all platforms, so TV, OTT, web, app, and social. And this was helped us provide our total video measure, which I'll come on to later. And this performance-based metric allowed us to take detailed decisions internally on scheduling throughout the games. And it also provided us with detailed metrics for communication, which went out daily to media partners. We also incorporated a qualitative element, so in the form of short-term online communities, which ran throughout the duration of the games. They were really great actually because you had viewers taking pictures of who they were watching the Winter Olympics with, what they were doing. You know, people sent us pictures of like the food they had stored up and beers in their fridge. It was really good fun, and that was another source of immediate editorial and also technical feedback that we could deploy across the business. And finally, we have at the end of the games, we ran a specific project to measure our total audience reach across all platforms, which we worked on with the IOC and Publicis, which I'll come on to in a second. So total video, yes, what do we mean by total video in UTV? Well, it's really a combination of three metrics, which are down the bottom here. First, we're talking about users. So that is the sum of total duplicated users across all platforms. So that is free-to-air, pay TV, OTT, online and social platforms. And this, of course, comprises traditional television screens, as well as mobile devices, tablets, and so on. Next, we have video. And video refers to the total number of videos viewed. And for this, we use the industry standard measurement. So for TV, a minute of viewing would count as a video view, or for OTT, a stream start. And it counts also the volume of viewing across Discovery and our partners in total hours consumed. So for digital, this isn't really new. So Facebook and YouTube use that KPI. But for TV, it is new and it's calculated in quite a similar way. So a TV video view, like I said, is counted when someone watches a consecutive minute of a program. So if someone's watching the ice hockey and then they stay on to watch the alpine ski event afterwards, that would count as, for at least 1 minute, that would count as 2 video views. So finally, yes, we have engagement at the end here, and this is the sum of likes, shares, and comments across all Discovery's owned social media platforms. And this is a combination of different metrics because each social media platform has its own metrics. So for Facebook, this would be the sum of likes, comments, and shares. For Twitter, this was the sum of likes, retweets, and shares. And for Snapchat, it was the total completion of stories. So let's turn to the total audience project that we ran. This was basically that project that I showed at the end of the research program to measure our total audience. And during the games, we found that 352 million people across Europe watched the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics in the 48 markets where we distributed them. So let me explain in a bit more detail of how we get to that number. So during the games, daily reach, as I've said, was measured for each market. So for streaming, that was done through analytics, and through TV, that was done using audience measurement systems. So that was, we had an official TV audience measurement for around 3/4 of the 48 markets in which we broadcast. So the total TV reach, that audience measurement, was used as a gold standard foundation on which we could build all of the remaining media combinations, including exclusive and exclusive digital engagement. And to measure the total Winter Olympics reach for each platform, we ran a quantitative survey at the end of the games, the day after the closing ceremony, in partnership with the research team at Publicis. It was fully nationally representative across multiple markets, and we worked with data scientists in order to work out the deduplication across media and also the media crossover. And so the outcome was the most complete picture of Olympic Games viewing that had ever been seen on this scale, and it allowed us to meet our commitment to the IOC to distribute the games, to deliver the games to more people than had ever been measured before. So looking again at the figures, that 352 represents nearly 2/3 of our potential audience, that's 63% there of the games. And that's great news for TV as well, because 327 million of those were reached using television. And that's a very powerful argument for us and for the TV as the dominant platform for sports viewing and for large point-in-time consumption for sports. So we can also see consumption across digital platforms, so we're able to split those out equally as well. In total, these reached 262 million people. So we can say that TV is certainly still king, but digital is growing. And as I say, we mentioned we reached 262 million people. So we found in total that our overall uplift from TV on using digital platforms was around 8% across all 48 markets. And certain markets stood out, they were a bit different. So for example, in Italy, social media accounted for a significant proportion of uplift. We saw 12% uplift in Italy for digital. And in Norway, OTT provided, I think it was around 13% of overall uplift on the back of TV. So in the end, we found that 97% of Norwegians had engaged with the Olympics, with the Winter Olympics in some way. And when I see numbers like that as a researcher, you're often surprised, but then when you think about Norway as this extremely well-connected digital country, small, 5 million people, but also with winning 39 gold medals and topping the table. So it would be hard to escape the Winter Olympics in Norway. So yeah, of course I should mention Finland in this. You came close second, 94% of Finns watched the Winter Olympics. So that should be maybe 2 of you in here. We also found that around 74 million people watched the Olympics on all 4 digital platforms, so web, app, social, OTT. And that's been amazing for us in terms of understanding digital engagement, especially with younger audiences. So we found that our owned social media, so for example, Snapchat, Facebook, and Instagram had huge engagement amongst this millennials target audience. And this really allowed us to meet our commitment to reach newer and younger audiences. So female audiences were also actually, we saw, for example, in the Netherlands, the increase for that was around 240% compared to a regular summer. So our researchers showed us we'd brought first-time audiences to Eurosport through the Winter Olympics. It was also a means not only to grow our reach, but to provide ROI to our commercial partners. And the pre and post brand equity analysis that we did showed significant shifts for brands across a number of values. And this is, so for example, here we have the association, familiarity, favorability, and purchase consideration. And that's not normally something you would expect over a 2-week period, which is how long the Pyeongchang Olympics were. But exposure, a high number of exposures across multiple platforms allowed us to raise this raft of performance measures. And we also saw increasing acceptance of the necessity of advertising to allow the Olympic Games to take place. Also improved perceptions around the brands that did advertise around the Olympics. And finally, yes, we had an increase in call to action measures. And the other positive about all of this was that the people who'd seen the Olympics on Eurosport, their measures were higher than on our partner channels. So so how do we make it work in Pyeongchang? Well, live sport continues to be the driver, the primary driver for large-scale point-in-time consumption. And we focused during the Games on delivering delivering a true multi-platform distribution of the Games. So that's free-to-air, pay TV, OTT, all the online platforms and social media. And in combination, these allowed our fans to follow every minute of the Games. And from an audience measurement perspective, we learned so much. Obviously, we learned that TV is still king, both in terms of viewership and also in terms of hours consumed, with 327 million Europeans watching the Winter Olympics on TV. But digital, we found, was key to driving engagement and to reaching those younger audiences. So we reached 262 million people with digital platforms during the Games. And this strategy of showing every minute live allowed super fans and people whose engagement was increasing as the Olympics were going on to tune in and watch every single camera live. So in terms of industry measurement, we've developed a first-of-a-kind methodology to measure audience behaviour across Europe, which we will be taking forward to Tokyo. So as you can tell with the PowerPoint presentation template has changed. We're looking at new Olympic Games. And we learned a great deal from Pyeongchang, which we want to take forward to next year. So we're continuing to innovate our audience research for Tokyo. We're deep into our planning for that. And in a similar way, all of our research and measurement solutions will be based on our category strategy and discovery that really has 3 business objectives for Tokyo, which is first. It's very similar to Pyeongchang with the Summer Olympics. We want to reach more people on more screens than ever before during the Summer Olympics. And we also want to deliver the biggest digital Olympics for Europe. So with our OTT service being the only way to follow every minute of every event live. And finally, we want to power people's passions for the Olympics with unrivaled expertise, analysis, and insight. So this will be the idea of Eurosport's heritage in storytelling in sport will be absolutely essential to that. And we hopefully will bring more technology to viewers as well, as we did last time in Pyeongchang. We had a number of AI simulations involving real athletes that really worked well. And yeah, so we're going to continue, in terms of concrete changes that we're going to make, we're going to enhance the scale of our online communities before and in the lead up and during the Games. And also we're going to be working further on our cross-platform reach reach studies. And we're working more with editorial as well in the lead up to these games, and just to have additional research projects to understand audience needs and really be able to strategize around our content. So it's an exciting time, and it's been really a great pleasure to be able to present some of this to you. I hope it's giving you a new perspective on what we're doing around the Olympics. And thank you very much for your time.